All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls. All right, we're going to start going over this problem. I'm going to call out for help. I'm going to ask you to explain how you know your answer is reasonable. Now, your answer may not be 100% correct, but you can still say it's a reasonable answer because it's close to your estimate and it seems like a fair number of problems or seats that would be on the planes. So let's start with reading it. As I put on my eyewear. A jet company manufactured 21 jets last year. Okay, before we start, Helen, why don't you tell me what you have highlighted on your for the question?
The whole question?
What did you highlighted everything?
Wait, no, like...
Okay, tell me what you have highlighted. What you thought was important in this question.
That?
I'll get it in a minute. What did you think was important in this question?
21 jets.
Okay, 21 jets. Helen thought that was important. So she highlighted that. That is important, so you should have it highlighted, circled, or underlined. What else, Helen? Good. Each jet, 186 seats. What else, Helen? Estimate. Good. Estimate should be highlighted, circled, or underlined. Exact number of seats should be highlighted, circled, or underlined. And then reasonable. Those are the things that are important. So let me read the question. A jet company manufactured 21 jets last year. Each jet has 186 seats. Estimate to find about how many seats are on all the jets. Then find the exact number of seats on all the jets. How do you know your answer is reasonable? All right, so you had to do those three things. While you at home are thinking, I'm going to go take my attendance. So just wait right there. Now you have circled the number of jets. You have circled the number of seats on each jet. And I am finding where to put my attendance in. And we're missing just Nevaeh.
Yes.
All right. More quiet. All right, and done. So, Helen and I think the rest of us agree that 21 jets is important. Helen and I think the rest of us agree that 186 seats per jet is important. Now, if you don't want to underline or highlight, you can always write this down next to your problem. That is fine as well. Helen said estimate. So she has estimate. She has exact. And she has reasonable. So she knows these are the three things that she has to have in her answer. She has to have an estimate. She has to have the exact answer. And she has to have the explanation of why that answer is reasonable. Okay? An estimate, the exact answer why it's reasonable. Okay? Questions? Awesome. Ivan, tell me what you did to find your estimate.
I estimated 21, and then since it's lower than 5, I got 20.
So you rounded the number of jets to 20. What else you do, Ivan?
And then I estimated 186. It is more than 5, so I got 190.
Okay, so you rounded this to 190. Anybody round the jets to 200? Okay, did you round it differently than 200 or 190?
I rounded to 200 because because it was over 50.
Okay? So you're going to get an estimate that are near each other regardless. So if you estimate it that way or you estimate it another way, as long as you're close to 21 and close to 186, your estimate is going to be accurate. Ready? Okay, so as long as you're close to those two things, your estimate is going to be accurate. Okay, and then what did you do with those two numbers, Ivan? Okay, multiplied them. So I have a factor of 190. Remember, factor is an important vocabulary term. I put that as my top factor because it has more digits in it. Just makes it easier that way. I have a factor of 20. Now we talked yesterday about the zero rule. Can you remember what that is, Ivan? Help him out, Taylor. What did we talk about yesterday when we talked about the zero rule? Good. However many zeros I have at the end of my problem, I write those down, and then I'm done with them. So now I have, Addison, you with me? Now I have 2 times 19. 2 times 19. And let me explain to you really quickly how I would do it. I know 2 times 20 is how much?
40.
40. Okay? I know 19 is 1 less than 40. So if I take 2 and I subtract that twice, I get 38. So 2 times 20 is 40. And then I subtract 19, or I subtract 1 twice, because I'm multiplying 40 twice, and I get 38. So now, Ivan's estimate is 3,800. Our answer needs to be somewhere in the vicinity of 3,800. All right with that? Okay. Now we have to find, so that answers one of the 3 things we're supposed to do. Oscar, you with me? Turn your desk. That answers one of the 3 things we have to do. Now the next thing, Jocelyn, we have to do is what? Find our exact answer. And how do you find the exact answer, Jocelyn? If I had 21 plus 86, I'm going to get 207. Multiply, excellent. So I'm going to multiply 186 by 21. I have a factor of 186, I have a factor of 21. We're going to do this today, multiplying with 2-digit factors to find our product. So watching and knowing how to do the 2-digit factors, and I know we did some of that yesterday, so hopefully you watched and you learned a little bit. You'll get more practice today. Yes, sir. Oh, you want to do the math? Evan.
1 times 6 is 6.
Good. We're multiplying from the ones place first. 1 times 6 is 6.
1 times 8 is 8.
1 times 8 is 8.
And then 1 times 1 is 1.
And 1 times 1 is 1. Then what do I do?
You put a 0 in the ones place.
I put a 0 in the ones place. You remember why?
To show that it's a tens.
Good. Because now I'm done with the ones place. I'm back in the tens place. So my first number needs to be in the tens place.
2 times 6 is 12.
2 times 6 is 12. Good.
And 1.
Put my 2, carry my 1.
2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, carry your 1.
Good. Carry my 1.
2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3.
Okay. Then what do I do?
Add them up.
Add them up.
6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 2 is 10. 0, carry the 1. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then we're done.
So my exact answer, as long as we did our math correctly, is 3,906. Okay? So 3,906. Olivia.
I got a different answer because all I rounded was the 21, and I forgot to round the 186.
Okay? But it would be easier if you did round the 186, because then our estimate, we really want to be able to do our estimate mostly in our head. An estimate should be able to be done mostly in your head. Now you may have to work out a little bit, but for the most part, it should be able to be done in your head. Now, Lainey, thank you for volunteering. Read what you have on your paper that explains to me that you know your answer is reasonable.
I know my answer is reasonable because it's close to the estimate, and
What was your estimate?
3,800.
Okay, so it was close to 3,800. Good.
And yeah,
Okay. Helen, you got more?
they both have it.
They both what? Okay, they both round up to 4,000. Alexander.
I know my answer is reasonable because there's 21 jets and 6. I know how to find the amount of seats, and when I evaluated and compared it to the exact, it seemed reasonable, and to check if I got the actual answers right, I did the reverse operation.
So you did the inverse and divided. Now, another way we need to think about is our answer reasonable. We need to go back and look at our problem. Does it seem reasonable that 21 jets would have a combined total of 3,906 seats?
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I mean, if I got an answer of 56 seats, that's not reasonable at all.
Those would be some small planes.
Yes, those would be really small planes. If I got an answer of 40 or 39,000 seats, that's not a reasonable answer at all. Either you've been on a plane or you've seen planes, so you have an idea what it looks like for the number of seats on one plane, and you know it's not in the thousands on one plane. Okay? So that's another part of seeing if it's reasonable. Now, Alexander did something cool that I want to do. Can you see me way over here? Okay. Alexander did the inverse operation of multiplication. And now what's going to happen here is we're going to divide with a 2-digit divisor, which is going to make some of you freak out and cry. I don't want you to freak out and cry. It's just as easy. It is just as easy. So I'm going to erase our estimate. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide 21 as our divisor, divided into our dividend of 3,906. And we want our answer, when we're done, to be the quotient. We want the quotient to be 186. That will tell us that we did our multiplication correctly and that we did our division correctly if we did it together. Okay? If we did them both wrong the exact same way, then we'd have a problem. Now, raise your hand if you really, really, really love dividing with 2-digit divisors. Okay? So, I got 3 of you, okay, 4 of you, that just love dividing with 2-digit divisors. Because I'm thinking I'm going to start a club called the Dividing with 2-Digit Divisors Club. No? Okay. I won't. Okay. Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. All right. Now, what the problem is dividing with 2-digit divisors is you make it more difficult than it needs to be. A lot of it is just like we're doing estimating, and then some guessing and checking. And it's also figuring out how many digits it needs to be. Remember I showed you yesterday when we're doing our division that the number of digits is easy to check. Okay? So does 21 go into 3? No, it's not going to go into 3. I'm not going to have a number in the thousands place. My quotient is not going to be in the thousands. So the greatest my quotient could be is 999. Because if it's any more, I have to have a number above the 3, which is going to put my answer in the thousands. We don't want that. That makes us sad. That makes us sad. Okay? Does 21 go into 39?
Yes.
Yes. Once I find out where it's going to go into, I know I'm going to have a hundreds place, a tens place, and a ones place in my quotient. Does that match up so far with what our product or with what our factor was?
Yes.
Yes. I have a 3-digit factor. I want my answer to be 3 digits. So far, so good. Now this is the part you hate. Because you don't know your 21 factor or your 21 times table. However, we could round it and count by 20s. And you say, I can't count by 20s. Well, if somebody threw $20 bills on your desk, you could count by 20s. Okay? And it's just like Oscar Awesome. It's just like counting by 2s, except we had that 0 at the back. All right. So, how many times do you think 21 is going to go into 39? Anybody? One time? One time? Okay, I think it's going to go in one time. So I'm going to put 1 here. What is 1 times 21?
21.
21. Am I sure at this point that 1 in my quotient is correct? I'm not sure in this point that 1 in my quotient is correct. Not until I subtract. Okay, 9 subtract 1 is?
8.
3 subtract 2 is?
1.
1. Am I certain right now that 1 is correct?
Yes.
How am I certain?
Because if there is more than 21 or more, you can have another group.
Good. If I subtract here and my difference is greater than my divisor, then I know I've done something wrong. Okay, it needs to be higher. My quotient, the number in my quotient needs to be higher. This one works out great. So now, I bring down another number. I bring down another number. Now, we can count by our 20s. So I want to find out how many times 20 goes into 180. Oh, let's go with Isaac.
8.
Okay, we're just guessing and checking. We want to check. Now, I don't write 8 up here immediately because I don't know 21 times 8. I'm going to check what 21 times 8 is. Yes, it may take us some guessing and checking. So what? So what? So 21 times 8 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So I get 168. Okay? Anybody think that that's not big enough? Anybody want to see what 21 times 9 is? Okay, let's check 21 times 9. I want to find the product of 21 times 9.
It might be too big, though.
It might be too big, but I don't know until I multiply it out. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. So having a 9 right here would give me an answer of 189, and that's going to be greater than 180. So you can't have 180 toothpicks on your desk, and I tell you, and I go over there and I threaten you, give me 189 of them now. You can't do that. So I know it has to be 8. And I don't have to remultiply it out. That's why I don't erase my work. Because I already know it's 168. Ruben?
After you're done explaining, can I go to nursery?
Yes, you can tinkle when we're done. Okay? Can I do 0 subtract 8? No. I have to borrow from the tens place. That becomes a 7. My 8 becomes a 10. 10 subtract 8 is? 2. 7 subtract 6 is? And I bring down the 6. Now, listen again. All it requires is some thinking and common sense. Is my next number in my ones place, in my quotient, going to be less than or greater than 8?
Less than.
Less than. Because I know 21 times 8 is 168. That would be too big. You with me, Isaac? That would be too big. Also, so far it looks pretty good that it's going to match my number of seats. Okay, Evan?
I know that it's that because you can use 5 as a benchmark. And
Good.
And 21 times 5 would be 105 plus 21 would be 122.
Okay, good. So what he did is use 5 as a benchmark. Did 21 times 5, which was what?
21 times 5?
Yeah.
What is 105?
105. And then he added 21 more to that because he wants 21 times 6. And so that gave him 126. So now I know it's correct. I know it's 6. 126. Subtract, I get 0. Boom shakalaka. Any questions? All right. Do you have a question, Jocelyn? All right. Peace out. Love you. Have a blessed day.
Thanks,